Welcome back to the Cynthia Clark Book Club. We are reading Chapter 2 of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. Chapter 2 is entitled There is a Science of Getting Rich. This is how the book club works. I will post this video in YouTube. I will post it on my website, and then I will post it in Facebook. And if there's something in the video or in the chapter or in the book period that you want to comment on, you just post a comment and we can have a conversation. Otherwise, I'll just do one of my favorite things that I like to do, which is reading into a webcam. So I'll just do that. Anyway, if you need a copy of this book, you can get it from my website for free. It's in the public domain, so it's okay for us to read it for free. And the best way to get to my website is to do a Google search. So you just go to Google and you search Cynthia Clark Book Club. The first thing that's going to come up, I think, is my Facebook page. Then you're going to see a list of YouTube videos that I've done, and then my website is going to come up. And my website is through Wix, so just go down, click on the website, and what you want to do to get a free copy of this book is just click on the image of the book in my website, and it will download a free PDF, so you can read along that way if you want to. So let's go ahead and get started. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to read, and then I just give my opinion or my 2 cents as I read, and that's pretty much it. It's really simple, and let's go ahead and get started. This chapter is Chapter 2 of The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, and the name of the chapter is There is a Science of Getting Rich. There is a science of getting rich, and it is an exact science like algebra or arithmetic. There are certain laws which govern the process of acquiring riches, and once these laws are learned and obeyed by anyone, that person will get rich with mathematical certainty. The ownership of money and property comes as a result of doing things in a certain way. And those who do things in this certain way, whether on purpose or accidentally, get rich. While those who do not do things in this certain way, no matter how hard they work or how able they are, remain poor. It is a natural law. Like causes always produce like effects, and therefore any man or woman who learns to do things in this certain way will infallibly get rich. That's encouraging. That the above statement is true is shown by the following facts. Getting rich is not a matter of environment, for if it were, all the people in certain neighborhoods would become wealthy. The people of one city would all be rich, while those of other towns would all be poor. Or all the inhabitants of one state would roll in wealth, while those of an adjoining state would be in poverty. But everywhere we see rich and poor living side by side in the same environment and often engaged in the same vocations. When two people are in the same locality and in the same business, and one gets rich while the other remains poor, it shows that getting rich is not primarily a matter of environment. Some environments may be more favorable than others, but when two people in the same business are in the same neighborhood and one gets rich while the other fails, it indicates that getting rich is a result of doing things in a certain way. And further, the ability to do things in this certain way is not due solely to the possession of talent. For many people who have great talent remain poor, while others who have very little talent get rich. I know that to be true. If you think about singers, there are people that have amazing vocal ability, much more advanced than a lot of the people that are successful in the industry now, but they're not singing in the industry. So I'm going to read that again. It says, and further, the ability to do things in this certain way is not due solely to the possession of talent. For many people who have great talent remain poor, while others who have very little talent get rich. Studying the people who have gotten rich, we find that they are average lot in all respects. Read that again. Studying the people who have gotten rich, we find that they are an average lot in all respects, having no greater talents and abilities than other people have. It is evident that they do not get rich because they possess talents and abilities that others do not have, but because they happen to do things in a certain way. Jay-Z raps well, but there are people in the world that rap way better than him, but he's the one that's rich. Let's keep going. Getting rich is not the result of saving or thrift. Many very penurious people are poor, while free spenders often get rich. Nor is getting rich due to doing things which others fail to do, for two people in the same business often do almost exactly the same things, and one gets rich while the other remains poor or becomes bankrupt. For all these things, or from all these things, we must come to the conclusion that getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way. If getting rich is a result of doing things in a certain way, and if like causes always produce like effects, then any man or woman who can do things in that certain way can become rich, and the whole matter is brought within the domain of exact science. The question arises here as to whether this certain way may not be so difficult that only a few may follow it. As we have seen, this cannot be true as far as natural ability is concerned. Talented people get rich, and blockheads get rich. Intellectually brilliant people get rich, and very stupid people get rich. Physically strong people get rich, and weak and sickly people get rich. Some degree of ability to think and understand is of course essential, but insofar as natural ability is concerned, any man or woman who has sense enough to read and understand these words can certainly get rich. Also, we have seen that it is not a matter of environment. Yes, location counts for something. One would not go to the heart of the Sahara and expect to do successful business. Getting rich involves the necessity of dealing with people and of being where there are people to deal with. And if these people are inclined to deal in the way you want to deal, so much the better. But that is about as far as environment goes. If anybody else in your town can get rich, so can you. And if anybody else in your state can get rich, so can you. Again, it is not a matter of choosing some particular business or profession. People get rich in every business and in every profession, while their next door neighbors in the very same vocation remain in poverty. It is true that you will do best in a business which you like and which is congenial to you. And if you have certain talents which are well developed, you will do best in a business which calls for the exercise of those talents. Also, you will do best in a business which is suited to your locality. An ice cream parlor would do better in a warm climate than in Greenland. And a salmon fishery will succeed better in the Northwest than in Florida, where there are no salmon. But aside from these general limitations, getting rich is not dependent upon your engaging in some particular business, but upon your learning to do things in a certain way. If you are now in business, and anybody else in your locality is getting rich in the same business, while you are not getting rich, it is simply because you are not doing things in the same way that the other person is doing them. You know what? When I read that, the first thing that comes to mind is maybe I don't want to do my business like they do their business. And as I ponder it more, and I read this book before, as I ponder it more, I know that they're talking about it's certain basic, fundamental things that they do, the person that's rich, of course, that they do, that the poor person doesn't do. And the businesses don't have to look just alike. For instance, Starbucks is a successful business, coffee, and Dunkin' Donuts is too. And they don't do things the same way. I mean, Starbucks' environment is totally different than Dunkin' Donuts' environment, but they both, are successful businesses. So anyway, let's keep going. No one is prevented from getting rich by lack of capital. So you don't necessarily need money, or you don't necessarily need money to get rich. Or let's put it like this: the lack of money doesn't need to stop you from getting rich. That's the deal. The lack of money doesn't need to stop you from getting rich. Let's keep going and see what it says. True, as you get capital, the increase becomes more easy and rapid, but one who has capital is already rich and does not need to consider how to become so. No matter how poor you may be, if you begin to do things in a certain way, you will begin to get rich, and you will begin to have capital. The getting of capital is a part of the process of getting rich, and it is a part of the result which invariably follows the doing of things in the certain way. You may be the poorest person on the continent and be deeply in debt. You may have neither friends, influence, nor resources, but if you begin to do things in this certain way, you must infallibly begin to get rich, for like causes must produce like effects. That's very encouraging. If you have no capital, you can get capital. If you are in the wrong business, you can get into the right business. If you are in the wrong location, you can go to the right location. And you can do so by beginning in your present business and in your present location to do things in a certain way, which always causes success. You must begin to live in harmony with the laws governing the universe. That is it. That is chapter 2. These chapters are so freaking short. So, in this book, they have these little summaries off on the side. So I'm going to go back through the summaries, and then we're going to end this chapter, and then I'll get chapter 3 out soon. So it says, studying the people who have gotten rich, we find that they are an average lot in all respects, having no greater talents and abilities than other people. So you don't have to be extremely talented to get rich, and we know this to be true just in like the music industry. Some of the people that make the most money are not the most talented. Some are, but a lot are not. So it's something else that's going on that's making that happen, which they talk about in future chapters. Okay, the next thing, you'll soon be quite familiar with the phrase certain way. Be sure to note that the word certain has two meanings, which both apply here. Number one, specific or particular, and number two, having no doubt, convinced, sure. They're going to talk about the certain way all the time, and as we go through the chapters, the certain way, the actual steps, and what the certain way is will be revealed, and I will highlight that as we get to those points. Okay, so the next one says, remember that successful action is cumulative in its results. Damn. Oops, that's from another chapter. Here we go. Talented people get rich. Oh, here we go. Talented people get rich, and blockheads get rich. Intellectually brilliant people get rich, and very stupid people get rich. Physically strong people get rich, and weak and sickly people get rich. And when I read that, it makes me think about folks that, let's say I tell someone that I want to become rich and I'm going to have that I'm building a business, and some folks will tell you that it can't be done, or oh, it's going to be hard, or you got to be like this, or you got to be like that. But this says that all types of people get rich. That, to me, when they say that, they're just expressing their feelings about themselves. They're projecting their lack of belief in themselves on, or trying to project it onto me, but I'm not having it, because I got stuff to do. Now, in the past, I may have listened to that crap, but today, no. So anyway, let's look at the next little bullet point, or the last bullet point. It says, you must begin to live in harmony with the laws governing the universe. So anyway, as we go through these chapters, those laws will be revealed. Let me mention this again. My website is Cynthia Clark Book Club. Best way to find it is to Google it. If something in this chapter or in the book, once you download it, or in the video resonates with you and you want to comment on it, then make a comment and we can talk about the book. And lastly, I know some people, they don't like typing back and forth on the computer to communicate. They can't stand that, but they love talking on the phone. So if you go to my website and you go to the store, you'll see that I offer a service where I talk to individuals one-on-one on the phone about this particular book or any of the other books or videos that I have posted, and I do that for a small fee. So if you go to my website and you go to the store, it explains, that process and how it works. And then some people say, well, Cynthia, why do you charge for that? Well, it's easy for me to respond to someone back and forth on Facebook. I can respond to you at 3 o'clock in the morning, but if you want to talk on the phone, then that's more time consuming. You're in my schedule, and my time is valuable, your time is valuable, and so I feel like it's okay for me to get compensated for that, number one. Number two, there are other offerings that I want to provide, other things that I want to do. And so if you want to do telephone discussions, I'm open to it. I just have to get paid for it. And you may say, well, Cynthia, I don't even know if I want to talk to you. Now, I understand that you may not want to talk to me. So if you want to just try it out, the first session is free for up to 30 minutes. The second session, if you want to talk again about any of the videos or the books that we're reading, then up to 30 minutes is only $5. And then from there on, it's the regular price, which is $15 for 30 minutes and $25 for an hour. That's very affordable. Anyway, go to my website. If you want to talk about the chapter of the book, post a comment, and we can just go from there. Thank you.